Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Selena La Rue joins us. She's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome back to the program Selena La Rue. She is the Democratic Assemblywoman from District 25. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
Absolutely delighted to be here.
So we were talking about the film tax credit bill with Tommy White, the union leader. And he said when it came to this bill at the end of the special session, you were vindictive in not voting for this. I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond.
No, I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm disappointed that some people have been taking what is a policy disagreement so personally. You know, my opposition to that bill stemmed from the fact that I believe that it was catastrophic to the state of Nevada. If you look at those numbers, we're giving away nearly $2 billion. We're getting a 22-cent on the dollar return on investment. That's not an investment I would make with my money. You probably wouldn't make that. Why would we do that to the people of Nevada? And most importantly, our fiscal staff actually broke down the numbers, and they presented to all of my colleagues and myself that by 2030, we could be in the hole by $300 million. And you and I both know, we've been around long enough that if you're in a hole that much, you know, we are either raising taxes in 2030 or we are cutting services. And I just could not bring myself to vote to cut schools and police and firefighters to give a tax break to the wealthiest corporations on earth.
When Tommy was talking about the film industry coming, he was talking about obviously jobs and construction and things like that. But he also had somewhat of a bigger vision, which I never saw outside of this conversation, where he was saying that it would be a tourist attraction. It would be more like a Universal Studios type thing where you'd have tours and things like that. You'd have movie stars walking around that would be exciting for the tourists. Did you hear any of that discussion during the special session or prior?
So I think some people talked about that. My big concern is this is not an unknown. We have seen it implemented in other states. And no economist has seen that kind of turnaround. When they implemented it in Michigan, it bankrupted the state to the point that they essentially defunded their police shortly thereafter. And in my mind, even logically, it doesn't make sense. If we are trying to diversify the economy away from tourism, why would we go to another luxury industry that when there is a recession, people stop going to the movies as the industry that is somehow going to save our state? I am all about economic development. I am all about creating jobs. I actually brought a bill last session about creating light rail, which I think would help our tourism. It would create long-term and short-term jobs, and it would benefit our communities. I think we should spend money on all of these kind of projects, but I think that there actually has to be a return on that investment.
All right, so when you say diversification away, you don't literally mean something that would take business away from the gaming industry. And I really call it the entertainment industry these days, because really that's what it's become. But it would just be an adjunct that if we were in a time like this where the Vegas numbers have dropped quite a bit over the last year, that we would have something else that was building things up, as we've seen in Washoe County.
Right, absolutely. No, I would never want to do anything that hurts our tourism or our gaming industry. I think it's essential to our state. But I think we've all agreed that when we hit a recession, we see the numbers in Vegas going down, we see the numbers in Reno going down, and we do need other industries to help us balance out, so we're not just reliant on one.
Okay, so just to ask one more question relative to Tommy White's comments. Was there a point where he believed that you were going to vote for this bill?
So Tommy White has never spoken to me about this bill. And in all of the months and months of lead up to this bill, I don't think that there was any moment that I indicated I would support this bill. I was certainly open. I always have an open door policy. I want to hear the numbers and the arguments, but I told everyone, unless this pencils out, unless it is a good investment and you can show me that it will not bankrupt the state, then I can't support it.
He said that his union was not going to support you going forward. Have they supported you in the past, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, they have not. I am a union member. I have enjoyed union support throughout my campaign. And to be honest, I believe that my vote on this bill was actually in support of unions, because AFSCME, which is our public workers, was opposed to this. Our teachers were opposed to it. Our police were opposed to it, because all of them knew their budgets and their jobs would be cut in order to give temporary jobs to another union. And in my mind, that's not union solidarity. Union solidarity is an injury to one is an injury to all. It's not, I got mine, screw you. And so I think what we need to do is we need to look for projects that are not going to cut one in order to pay the other. We need projects that are going to benefit everyone.
He talked, and others have talked about on the program recently, a north-south split. This is something that I had hoped had been buried a long time ago. Is it rearing its ugly head again?
You know, you mentioned it, and I've heard others mention it. I didn't see this as a north-south issue. If they wanted to build those Summerlin studios in Washoe County, I would have been as opposed, because it would have still bankrupted the state either way. And the kids in my district would have suffered as their schools were cut. And when you look at the votes, it wasn't north-south. There were people from the north that voted for it. There were people from the south that voted against it. In my mind, it wasn't even a partisan issue. We had Dems and Republicans that supported it, and Dems and Republicans that banded together to fight it in every way we could. This was more of an issue of who was looking at the numbers, who was actually digging into the issue, and who was trying to do what was right for the entire state.
Were you surprised that Brian Sandoval, now president of UNR and former governor, came to the legislature to lobby on behalf of it, hoping to get a portion of this for Northern Nevada?
I was very disappointed to see him there. I think that as someone who has been in a position of knowing how the budget works, there's no way he couldn't have looked at that budget and known the consequences. And so I was surprised. I was disappointed that he was there lobbying for something that would bankrupt the state.
All right, let's change topics here to one that you just brought up, which is light rail. Tell me your thoughts on light rail. We actually had a panel on light rail just the other day talking about things going on with TRI into Sparks and the potential for that. Also potential for light rail on the Union Pacific line coming into Reno. What can you do to enhance this conversation?
Yeah, so I actually brought the bill last session that got this whole ball rolling. It created a task force that is meant to figure out how we build these light rails, where they need to go. Most importantly, how do we pay for it?
Right.
And so I'm really, really excited to see that they're going to have their first meeting this month. It's going to bring together industry experts, people from RTC North and South, people from unions North and South, people in industry North and South, and they're really, really going to flesh it out. I know, as you do, and you heard in your panel, that we need something to get out to Trick. That is the highest level of congestion in our city. And I hear from constituents all the time how desperately they want a light rail out there. I think in Vegas, too, we hear that from their constituents. I would love to see a light rail maybe from the airport to the Strip to help boost our tourism, let people just get right in there and getting to the casinos and spending their money. But I'm really excited that I think it's starting to become a reality.
So back to the question of cost.
Right.
How do you pay for it? Because, you know, these public transportation deals are great for moving people, but not necessarily profitable, even breaking even.
Right. So I think that these are one of those projects where we have to weigh what is the public good that's coming out of it in addition to the cost we're putting in. Right? Like, we invest in our schools and we're not expecting them to turn a profit.
Right.
But when our kids come out and they have the skills to enter the workforce, that boosts our economy. Right? And so I think we have to look at it in that lens. The way we pay for it has got to be complex. Right? We have to look at whatever federal funds are left that we could possibly leverage. I'm sure we'll have to make a state investment. We need to look at what the local municipalities and counties can add into it. And so I think it is going to be a complex picture, but that's why we have this task force, to figure out what's available and how can we cobble it together.
Are you not concerned of the conversations that we're hearing from Reno Sparks and Washoe County, both publicly and privately, that there are major shortfalls coming for each of these entities? So how do we compensate for those? And is that the state's responsibility, or is that the individual county's responsibility?
Right. No, I am deeply concerned about the shortfalls that we are seeing. And I think it is a combination of state and local government needing to work together. We need to have serious conversations at a state level about what we need to do to support these. And we need to show that leadership of bringing people together and talking through the problems and problem solving. But we also need to allow local governments to have a voice and to have a say, because they are the closest to people on the ground.
You mentioned light rail in Las Vegas. From the airport to the Strip. The Boring Company is in process of doing that right now. Have you been following the Boring Company and what they're doing?
I am deeply concerned about what's going on with the Boring Company.
Why?
Because they have many, many, many environmental and labor violations. We saw that there have been harms done to firefighters that have gone because they've cut corners on the chemicals that they're using. We've seen workers that have been injured because they're not following safety practices. And to be honest, I don't think the boring tunnels are public transit. The boring tunnels are, you sit in a car that slowly moves you from one place to another, one car by one. That's not mass transit. That's not moving a lot of people quickly. It's not accessible for a lot of people. I think that it's fun and it's showy, but I don't think it's an effective solution.
Have you ridden it so far? Have you been down to the convention center in Vegas and ridden one of those cars?
You know, I have not ridden in one of the cars.
Okay.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you should do that. And the speeds are quite high. They're running, I believe, at around 40 miles an hour at the convention center right now, but they can go up to speeds of 60 miles an hour. And I know through Steve Hill that they had to prove that they could move X amount of thousands of people at the convention center from one place to another. So they are considered mass transit as far as hitting the goals that were set for them. And I know the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported on a lot of those issues you just raised, but it appears that they've been correcting those issues and paying fines to resolve them.
And I think we might disagree on that, because I think that a lot of those fines got removed. I think that, you know, there's that big scandal going on with the governor's office, maybe interfering. I just have concerns with the way that they practice their business. And yes, they can get up to 60 miles an hour with one car. And that is not the same as a train that is full of hundreds of people. And I think that we need to be looking bigger than that. And I think we need to be dreaming grander than that for what our people need.
Okay, well, it's going to be an interesting discussion and more to come. Do you want to talk about the governor's office and what controversy there was there?
Well, I think that there's been some reporting that it seems that there were many fines that were levied against the boring company. There were concerns that were raised. And then I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not an investigative journalist, but it seems like there was some pressure from Lombardo or someone in his orbit, and then those disappeared. And so I think that that's something we need to investigate. Was there interference? Was it just the normal course of business that suddenly fines are reduced? I would like to know more.
Okay, and we are obviously, as always, happy to have the governor's office respond to that if they would care to do so. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Selena La Rue Hatch after this time out.
Ring in the new year with newfound cash during the New Year Cash Extravaganza only at the Carson Valley Inn. Win up to $7,500 in giveaways every week. Then win big with $10,000 in cash and free play during the grand prize party January 31st. Start 2026 with a bang only at the Carson Valley Inn.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Selena La Rue Hatch. She is the Democratic Assemblywoman from District 25. I wanted to ask you about the special session in general and what you thought came out of it that was good, what that came out of it that was not so good, beyond the film tax credit.
So, I had concerns about the special from the beginning. I called it the special interest session because it seemed that if you had deep enough pockets, you could request the governor to put something on the agenda. And I didn't see things that I felt that people were asking for, right? Initially, it didn't even have anything on housing on the agenda. And so I was concerned about that. I think that we did some good things, for sure. I think we passed a bill that ensures that in the future, if the federal government is withholding SNAP payments, we as a state can fill that temporarily until the feds start that back up. I think that's significant and it is important. But I didn't think that anything else we passed rose to the level of needing a special session. When we are talking a cost of $100,000 a day or more for a special session, in my mind, it should be a true emergency and not just things that some people were upset we didn't pass in the regular session.
You made a comment there about the governor's office and contributions, should I say, that got things into, do you have any proof of that?
So I don't want to make an accusation of there was a quid pro quo, right?
Okay.
I do think, though, that it was very clear that the items that were on the agenda were things that corporations were happy to have, things that Hollywood studios were happy to have. So I am not implying anything direct, but it did seem that it was much more favored towards corporate interests and not everyday working Nevadans.
What did you think about the crime bill?
I had concerns about the crime bill simply because it felt like a bill that was being pushed for a campaign issue and not because of something that we actually needed, right? We have looked at crime data. Crime data has been going down. We have not seen a sudden spike that calls for a change in our laws. And most importantly, the crime bill, as it stood, is set to raise costs on our carceral system. And already, our prison system is overrunning their budget constantly. We are constantly having to fill it with more and more public dollars. And so my concern is that we're making all of these changes for campaign reasons when it is going to cost our state more money in the long run and is not immediately necessary.
All right, let's take another break. We'll come back more with Selena La Rue Hatch after this time out.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm Attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Selena La Rue Hatch. She is the Democratic Assemblywoman from District 25. So in the governor's race on the Democratic side, you have Aaron Ford, the Attorney General, and you also have Alexis Hill, who has support. It looks like there's a fundraiser coming up with her with Christian Kiliani and Beverly Rogers. So some substantial Democratic weight there, and potential for some heavyweight money coming in on that. What are your thoughts on that race?
You know, I have endorsed Attorney General Ford. He and I had great conversations about our policy priorities. One of my biggest is universal paid family medical leave, which he supports and he agrees with. And I actually endorsed him even before Commissioner Hill announced that she was running for the race. I think that primaries are good. I think that getting ideas out and debating them are good. I think that if she wants to run and she has a different vision for Nevada, then that's great, and we should hear from her, and we should hear from Attorney General Ford, and we should let the voters decide.
Have you talked to her?
I have talked to her.
And because I in the beginning I was trying to figure out, was she running for name recognition for an office down the road? And it's pretty darn obvious she's running to be governor.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the impression I got as well, is she's very passionate about it. She has ideas and a vision, and she is running because she wants to get it out there and she wants to make it a reality.
With what we're looking at on the national scene, the Republicans have been for a while moving as a bloc, supporting the president, but as we come up on the election cycle, you're seeing moderate Republicans starting to push back a little, but you're also seeing lots of international affairs and things going on. At a time when Democrats in a midterm after a presidential election should be making gains, the leadership looks so weak. I mean, even liberal comedians are mocking the leadership of the Democratic Party in both the Senate and the House. What do you think? You know, is it time for a generational change? And I'm not sure that Hakeem Jeffries is, too old to be serving, but where's the excitement in the Democratic Party?
You know, this is something that I've talked about a lot. I think that the American people are desperate for leaders right now. They are desperate for people who are honest, who say what they think, and who are standing up for working people. And I think that for a long time, there's been a model of if I don't move at all, they won't notice I'm a Democrat and they'll accidentally vote for me. And I don't think that that's a model that is functional. And so I think that we do have a problem. I think that we need to be re-energizing our base. I think that we need to have younger folks. Absolutely. The gerontocracy is a deep concern of mine.
The gerontocracy.
The gerontocracy.
You are a teacher.
I am, I know. but I do think we need people that are vocal, right? Like one thing that people can say about me, no matter what else you think, is that I'm honest about where I stand and I am clear about what I believe. And I think that we need Democrats who are willing to do that and who are willing to fight for working people.
All right, so who would you see as leadership in the United States Senate?
Oh, that is a question that is, I think, a challenge because I am in the Nevada Assembly. And so I don't necessarily want to say this senator or that senator, but I do think we need someone that has a vision and is going to unite people behind a vision that is not just Trump is terrible, but here's what we are going to do to change how the system works.
Because, you were talking about leadership for the working people. Mm-hmm. The reason that Donald Trump got elected twice was because he was appealing to the working people. Well, he took that issue away from you.
And I think
he took marijuana away from you.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that people say that Nevada is moving rightward. I don't think so. I think that Nevada is economic populist. I think that
of course
people know that the system is rigged against them, and they want someone to say the system is rigged against them, and they want the system to be broken. And I think they voted for Donald Trump because whatever else he's going to do, breaking the system is definitely on the agenda. I just think that we need people who will admit that and then say, and now here is how we will rebuild it so that it is functional.
You should be on The Daily Show. Jon Stewart would love you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. Always, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Come back soon.
I will. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching.